The rumor is I might learn to draw. Not a chance. No way. Welcome into my state of mind. I am Dan York. It is these programs that sometimes are the most fun when I don't sit here and tell you about how smart I am about the world and, you know, our usual rundown segment where we knock off 4, 5, 6, 7 news items and thoughts and all that kind of thing, because these are what we call our vacation or holiday or time off or who knows, throw the new show in type of programs. So we will be sans the rundown this evening for our special guest who has appeared on the program before. Sometimes as we're nearing almost a half a year on this program already, can you believe it? We find guests that are just too good, and we just didn't have enough time for them. I also remind you that if you're somebody who thinks that your story or your talent or your project, your entrepreneurial skill, your investment, you know what I mean, needs some attention, let us know. At the end of the program, we put up the information on how you get in touch with us. We love just talking to folks who are positive and doing their thing and having fun and have different skills and cool things to talk about. And tonight's guest is a repeat. Here's the headline that first got our attention. Bristol cartoonist brings smiles to young cancer patients at Hasbro Children's Hospital. We welcome back Steve Brosnihan. Steve, nice to have you again.
Yeah, thank you.
We had fun last time around. Steve did some drawing, and he's going to do some drawing this evening. And report. Are you going to try to make me draw?
I'm going to get you to draw today.
I'm going to show you later the one thing that I doodle all the time, and then you can psychoanalyze me. Forget just teaching me how to draw, because it's the one thing that it's really weird. Do you guys have that too? But before we get into all of that, we talked about your work at Hasbro. You have in your career first as an architect, and then saying after 6 months, I'm done with that. I want to be a full-time cartoonist. You have pieced together without any kind of full-time gig lots of projects that have kept you in business and in people's lives. Tell us about that.
Well, there was a time when I did have basically a full-time job working for a newspaper. When I first started working, I got some newspaper assignments from local Rhode Island weekly papers. And one newspaper group was called the Phoenix Times newspapers at the time. It's the East Bay newspapers now. They told me that if you can do some writing for us, we'll let you draw for us, and we'll pay you to draw as long as you are writing.
Got it.
So I was able to shape an income around doing some writing and some drawing.
Small town media needs you to be a jack of all trades, right?
Yeah, and it's a great place to learn about a lot of things, including people. I learned how to develop my skills as a cartoonist, both editorial and as an illustrator. And after about 6 years of that, it gave me some confidence that I could make a living by being a cartoonist alone.
So you work on projects, and you volunteer at Hasbro, or I mean, you're a paid consultant to Hasbro.
Yeah, I've got an interesting arrangement there with the blessing of the hospital. I am considered a volunteer by the hospital. I don't put any financial burden on the hospital, but I'm supported by an organization called VSA Arts Rhode Island, which receives grants that I go looking for, and they support me financially from outside of the hospital setting.
Well, it makes perfect sense. And just to touch base on what you're doing with the hospital, it's terrific work. I mean, there's some sick kids in there that need a smile, and you provide it, and on a consistent basis. I mean, you're there all the time.
Not quite
3
all
days
the time.
a week, right?
Yeah, I get about 8 hours a week total over three.
That's a lot of presence, though. I mean, you know, for kids that are in there, and unfortunately, those kids are in there for a long period of time. Some of them, they get to know you, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about how great that work is for you.
It's the most rewarding thing that I do. It's to be able to sit down for the first time with a kid that you know is going to be facing some time in the hospital to get through a life experience. And to know that you have a chance to create a friendship, a rapport. And the cartooning is my vehicle for doing that. But getting to know a child in a family, or even a young adult, we've got a lot of young adults that we take care of there. To me, it just opens up something that's going to be important to me for the rest of my life. And hopefully take some of the edge off that experience of being in the hospital for a while.
Sure. What's it like to be a cartoonist?
I'm doing the thing that I love. and every day is a good day as far as going to work or doing the work. I love doing it.
What do you do to go to work? You work out of the house,
Yeah,
or at Hasbro, or
Right.
where your projects are.
Sure.
You don't have a storefront necessarily.
No, I don't. No. So, there is no average day of work for me. It includes setting up programs. I do a lot of teaching. I teach in schools, teach in libraries. I get freelance assignments. I just finished something for the Rhode Island Journalism Hall of Fame. I do the portraits for the plaques that are down there at URI. Strange things come my way. People want me to do caricatures or portraits. And then I also try to continue my own work developing new cartoonograms, those things I make out of letters. And I have
And we're going to see that in a second, because we did that last time. We'll do that again. That's fun.
And I do some sales. The Rhode Island Can Be Puzzling project that I've had going since 1994 has been something that a lot of people have enjoyed.
What makes a good cartoonist?
In my opinion, someone that is willing to accept their imperfection as a draftsman, combine whatever skills they've got to be able to draw with a good sense of humor and a creative mind that can put the picture together with that humorous concept.
You've had some influences.
Absolutely. Don Bosquet was one of my first major influences. He was just starting to really come into his own as a national identity as a cartoonist when I got out of college. And I contacted him, just gave him a call way back in '83, and told him I thought I wanted to be a cartoonist. And he said, well, maybe we should talk. And he invited me to sit down with him and hear his story, and he looked at my work, gave me encouragement, and he got me rolling in the direction that was the one I needed to be rolling in. And another person that had a big influence on me was Dr. Seuss, Ted Geisel. We happened to go to the same college, so there was
Really?
Yeah, it was an alumni network opportunity for me to be in touch with him, and he became a little bit of a pen pal for a while. And then I finally met him at his home briefly back in the late '80s, and
Must have been a thrill.
fantastic thrill. The last note I got from him was a handwritten note that acknowledging something I had sent him. I had just been published nationally in 1990, and I said, I want to thank you for what you
Sure.
helped get started here, and this is what I've done with it. And he wrote back that he was pleased that he had something
Of
to
course,
do with
you've
it.
seen the Seuss Museum in Springfield, right? You've been there?
I
You
haven't been there yet,
Oh,
no.
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You got to get over there. All right, when we come back, we're gonna do what Steve does with the kids in the hospital, or with you at an event, where we write a name, and you start to draw off the name, off the letters.
Yeah, convert the letters into animals usually.
And then he suggests, I think, that he can teach anybody to draw. I don't think that's possible. Stay with us. Welcome back in one of our lighter affairs this evening. I'm having a great time hanging with Steve Brosnihan. He's a local cartoonist, but does work all over. He's well known, has been well publicized for his terrific work at Hasbro Children's Hospital, where 3 days a week, about 8 hours over the course of the week, he comes in and draws with the kids. He's also going to see if he can teach me to draw later, which I think is not going to happen. By the way, do we have the website information? I just want to pop that up. I know that's a last-minute call that I just made there, Steve, but or Kevin. SteveBcartoons.com is the website, and I can now talk to Steve because he's over here rather than over there. But you move product off that website.
Yes, I do. Yes.
People can get what kind of things off there?
The main things they can get are my Rhode Island Can Be Puzzling map and my Anyone Can Draw cartoonograms.
The Rhode Island Can Be Puzzling map.
Yes.
That's that right
That's
there,
that.
right?
Yes.
Just throw that at me, will you? We're loosey-goosey here this evening. I love it when we're off spec, and I've yet to get Jess on the show. There it is. We got the arm on the show. By the way, that's going to change if it hasn't already by the time you've seen this thing. Can we go tight on that? Which way you want to go? You want to go to, there you go. There we go. Camera 2. So explain what this is.
Sure. This is a map of Rhode Island that is keyed with picture puzzles or rebus drawings. Each one represents a place in Rhode Island, and they're all where they belong. So if you figure out the picture puzzle, you know what place is being represented. And it's a lot of fun to figure out.
All right, cool. So listen, great gifts.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a great birthday gift. You know what gifts are for. So go to the website and get yourself one of these or any of the other great products and just commiserate with Steve. Perhaps if you want him to come and maybe do some little entertainment or whatever, I'm guessing that you're available for.
I'm available for programs. Sure.
For programs
Yes.
and hire and all of that kind of stuff. So one of the things you do with the kids is that they'll give you a name and you draw animals off the lettering, correct?
Yes, they turn the letters into animals.
All right, let's use Kevin. He's our
Sure.
director today. It's
Yeah.
just so, but my name is Kevin. Kev, say, my name is Kevin.
My name is Kevin.
My name is Kevin.
All right, Kevin. I'm writing your name in large letters on the board here. And this is what I would do to introduce myself to anyone I meet at the hospital.
Okay.
And from here, I'd ask you for suggestions of what animals you'd like me to draw. And
Gotcha. So, Kev, what would you like?
Dog.
He
A
wants
dog.
a dog.
all right, I'm looking for a letter.
Kev's our good outspoken director. Dog!
Dog.
All right, Kevin, here comes a dog for you. And it won't be a famous dog, it'll just be a dog that I make up on the spot here. Forgive the spot reference. But it'll look like a dog.
Yes, it does.
All right, there's a dog for you. Another animal, please.
Jess,
Iguana.
an iguana.
Iguana, all right.
First of all, I couldn't even tell you what an iguana looks like. Is that like a lizard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
right.
a lizard.
Is that the thing I see in Florida outside the hotel room all the time, the iguana? Okay, all right.
Now, I don't know iguanas really well, so I'll use my artistic license
Yes.
to do a lizard that reminds me at least of what I think an iguana looks like. And that usually works also for my my young friends at the hospital. But that
Now,
may
have you ever
be-
had a kid say, "That's not an iguana"?
Yes, I have. And
I'm sure you've actually heard it all, right?
I usually hand them the marker at that point and ask them to go ahead and do the work.
That's funny. How about a giraffe?
Giraffe? Sure.
Let's see where that's going to come.
Giraffes, my giraffes are usually very distorted creatures, but they eventually become what they're supposed to become.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
I never know exactly where I'm going with these myself, but
Now, well, tell me about that, because really, you've been doing this a long time. You like the animals. You never know what name is going to be thrown at you, so you've got to be versatile. So, oftentimes you're just drawing something that you haven't drawn before, or a version of, right? You know what I mean?
absolutely. And this is the thing. When I first started doing this particular type of drawing, I would only draw what I knew I could draw. But I didn't think I was a very impressive cartoonist by doing that. So when I put my imagination on the spot, it became more of a challenge, but it became more exciting for everyone. So this guy's never going to be able to turn that into what I just asked for.
Right.
And then it happens.
I guess, well, what else do we want in terms of, we have two more animals to go. You guys got any ideas? Like one that really stump them? We got a stumping animal here? An animal that really see, he can't come up. An aardvark.
Aardvark?
The iguana and the aardvark. And you want to know why? You have a little bit of insight now as to what I deal with every day here?
Well,
the iguana and the aardvark.
yes. Well, I did see an aardvark shortly after looking at the board here.
See, you could draw an aardvark, and I wouldn't even know if you were correct.
This one's
You can
leaning
tell me it's
into
an
the
aardvark,
picture.
I'd be like, what?
It's pretty good.
Is that good, Jess?
Yeah.
Here's his aunt, not his uncle.
That's cool. So give me a bear.
A bear?
Yeah, off
Sure.
that end.
Yep, he's a big bear. But again, what I'm doing here is I'm just relaxing and letting my imagination call the shots.
Right.
If I spend too much time,
Thinking. You don't think at all.
I
No, I mean, you
You're
don't.
not the first
you don't.
person that said that.
You don't ponder the situation. You just. I mean, you didn't take more than a second to go, bear? Huh? Okay, he's a big one.
Yeah, exactly. And it is remarkable what your imagination will do when you train it. And I've had a lot of practice doing this, but I like to encourage kids to use their imaginations. To me, you shouldn't always be receiving entertainment. You should be creating it too, to keep your brain agile. And this is one way I do that, by letting my imagination do the work for me.
That is so cool. And so when you end up doing that for one of the kids, they go home or they put it on the wall, or whatever.
It usually goes to some wall, but they'll also say, okay, if this guy's legit enough to do that, maybe he can't teach me to draw, which is what I'm hoping you're thinking.
Okay, so when we come back, we're coming back to this camera. I don't know. We may or we may not. There I am. There I am. Aardvark that I am. When we come back, the impossible. Stay with us. So Steve is with me, and he's a cartoonist of local fame. His website is stevebcartoons.com, where you can order some of his product, get in touch with him, do some projects. It's really cool stuff. Now, look, he's going to teach me how to draw. Let me tell you something. The other day, I got a card from my nephew, and it was the stick, Uncle Danny, and it was the stick figure. And I didn't laugh because I know I can't do any better. But here, this is it must have been geometry class. This is a doodle that I do. I'm making it now. It's two squares linked and a couple of triangles that I connect, and it's a house. Okay, so that's all I've ever been able to do, honestly. Steve thinks he can do better. So how do you teach an idiot like me to draw, or a completely untalented, two left hand type of guys?
I would say that you're an unbelieving cartoonist at this point, and I'm
without a doubt.
I'm going to try to get you to believe.
Okay.
Here's how I like to do it. First of all, if you have a piece of paper,
I do.
Hold it the tall way, which I call skyscraper. And
Okay.
This is what your paper looks like. And I teach what I call cartoonograms. They are cartoons that are made up of letters of the alphabet. We're going to build a character out of letters.
Okay.
At the top of your paper, please write this word: CLOVEN. This is a hint word. All of my characters have hint words or phrases that will help you remember how to draw this character.
Okay, I've written it. I've written it. Okay, here we go.
This word can be defined as meaning something that's split or divided. You could even say, as a general definition, it means something that's in half. The character is going to have a connection to that word, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. I want you to be surprised by what you do. Using just the letters in this word, we will create this character by starting in the middle of your paper with a small O and a small thick C.
You want me to write
inside
that? O and a C.
Please make a small O with a small thick C in the middle of your paper.
Okay.
And this is as hard as it gets. We're just making letters. Stick another O to the first O and put another thick C inside it.
This is my new doodle. I feel it. After 40 years, I've got a new doodle. Okay.
All right, you just drew a pair of eyes, Dan, and I'm going to put a pair of eyebrows with a pair of N's floating over those O's. They just float there. Cartoonists use eyebrows to create a lot of expression. I always include them. Letter V from here, sideways V, doing that. I do use some letters sideways.
That's a schnoz.
That's correct. And then the letter L, short part straight down, long part tilts up like a backwards check mark. Excellent. Small backward C on the end. I do use some letters backwards, but the shape is respected. And from here, a C that almost touches there, but not quite. Nice. And a C that rocks on its back and almost touches there, but doesn't quite touch. And one more C growing from between the eyebrows. It falls over. I like the letter C. Letter E is the only letter we have not used yet. Here it comes. It's on its side. The three arms reach between the L and this C. The back of the E is already part of the L. All you need is 3 lines. All right. Now at this point, I usually ask people to try to guess what they're drawing, and I let them know that the character will have a connection to this word because it's something you sometimes see in half. I also tell them that this character has a lot to do with the ocean, but it doesn't exist in the ocean. It has some influence over the ocean, and in this year, 1969, something really exciting happened involving this character.
The moon?
Excellent.
The
One
moon?
more C all the way around the outside of the drawing that connects right here.
Oh!
And you should have a moon.
Big C here.
And I think you've got a better looking doodle now.
Da 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 da. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. I've drawn something. Ladies and gentlemen, the new doodle for the next 40 years. I don't think I'll make it, but how great is that? All right, you know what? That's fun stuff. Don't you think you want to get in touch with Steve? You know, buy some of his cool stuff, or just go online and say, "Come teach me to draw." The website again, steviecartoons.com. You're a great guy and a great talent. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate having you. Seriously. I'm an artist. When we come back, your state of mind. Stay with me. All right, I don't know if you can top tonight, but any kind of talent or skill or story, you know, whether it's the young people or some veteran, you know, success stories here. We just love highlighting people who are, you know, part of the fabric of what the quality of life here in Rhode Island is all about. You know, it's a good quality of life. Your state of mind, give me a ring and let me know who we should be talking to, whether it's you or somebody you know. 228-1886. State of mind at myritv.com is the email, and of course you can tweet or Facebook post at Dan York Show. Our next program, most likely, will be back in our regular routine of checking the news and trying to get some answers. But again, it's always fun to kind of let it go a little bit and highlight talent and stories. Now, again, I am an artist, and it's kind of a big moment in my life now because I will practice this and have a brand new doodle. Steve tells us that most adults only have one doodle. I have two. That's a cool thing. All right, thanks so much for watching on My State of Mind, weeknights, 7:30 at MyRITV. Repeats at 11:30 every night, and you can find it online at WPRI.com. Click on the More button. Good night.